Among Us. It's one of the most popular games around and has been downloaded millions and millions of times. It's provided people all over the world with countless hours of good, clean fun and helped grow and improve their critical thinking abilities. In many ways, Among Us is the perfect game. But you're not watching this video because you want to find out what Among Us is. You're watching this video because you want to find out what Among Us is. Behind all the 2D charm and cartoonish violence, under the surface of what appears to be a completely harmless game, lies a truth so dark it'll turn out all the lights in your house. Like Crocs, fanny packs, and even the internet itself, Among Us is a government experiment. If you were in the government and you wanted to run an experiment, you wouldn't just go and tell everybody and say, hey, look at my cool experiment. No. Then people start asking questions and blaming you for things. It's a mess. If you want to run any good experiment, you don't tell people about it, and in fact, you make it feel like something that isn't an experiment. So what I'm saying is, if you feel like Among Us isn't a government experiment, that's just more proof that it is a government experiment. Let me guess, you're one of those boring people who wants evidence. Well, lucky for you, I'm feeling generous. Here's your evidence. Now, it's no secret that social media has changed the way we as human beings think and behave. What newspapers, magazines, TV, and radio did back in the day, social media has taken to a whole new level. But sites like YouTube, Twitter, and the very stinky Facebook, man, that's just the very tip of the iceberg. It's not enough to simply influence people and suggest things to them. And let's be real here. If you really want to influence people, you don't want to get them when they're adults. You want to start that programming when they're young. So what's the best way to go about doing this? School? Huh, please, as if most students pay attention at school. If you really want to start altering the behaviors of children and adolescents, then you need to get into the spaces where they spend the most time socializing and having fun. The world of gaming. Over the past couple of years, the global gaming industry has expanded massively. For the sake of comparison, it's estimated that the total revenue worldwide for the gaming industry was $91 billion in 2016. By the end of 2023, this figure is expected to reach $221.4 billion. That's more than double the figure from 2016. It's pretty obvious that the global gaming industry's growth isn't going to slow down anytime soon. This doesn't mean that the gaming industry doesn't have its limitations. Playing top-rated multiplayer games like Valorant and Fortnite requires some impressive hardware. So for the vast majority of people around the world, it's simply not affordable or feasible for them to participate. Any competent government wanting to conduct a successful global experiment won't succeed by creating complex games for consoles and PC. So what's the most sensible answer to this problem? Easy. Mobile gaming. If online estimates are to be believed, some 6.92 billion people own smartphones across the world today. That's like almost 87% of the world's population. If true, that's a staggering figure and not one to be taken lightly. If you want to target just about everyone in the world, you want to make a game that's easy to access and available on mobile devices. You'll also want to make it quirky, unique, simple, and kid-friendly. Are any alarm bells going off in your head? That's right. I'm talking about Among Us. As of 2022, Among Us has been downloaded 530 million times. It's one of the most downloaded games ever. Assuming that each of those downloads represents a unique user, that equates to about 15% of the world's population that has downloaded or is currently playing Among Us. Now you would expect a game this popular to carry a pretty decent price tag, but that's just it. Among Us is free to play. Okay, the PC version on Steam will cost you about $5, but that's pretty reasonable. Now consider that Among Us started with less than 100 players and was only released on 16th November 2018. That means it's been around for just over 5 years. And in fact, it only really started growing in the middle of 2020. If you think about it, there are entire religions that are smaller than Among Us. And if it continues to grow in popularity at this rate, it'll outpace Christianity within 2 decades. Among Us has become its own culture. There are memes everywhere, and just about every single person in Generation Z is familiar with the game. But this is all just a happy coincidence, right? Wrong! There are no coincidences. Among Us is a government experiment. Okay, but what does the government want to do with Among Us? You may not want the answer to that question. Maybe they're using it to profile you and track your data. Perhaps they're monitoring player behaviors in order to figure out new methods of influencing people on a global scale. Or maybe the purpose is something far worse than that and is yet to be revealed. You know what, guys? If for some reason I do just disappear mysteriously, you could do me the favor of liking this video and subscribing to the channel so that my death or disappearance is not in vain. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you again in the next video. Because there will be a next video, right? I didn't say anything messed up. You got nothing on me, right? Right?